So good day everyone, and good day to our instructor, Engineer Dande Alistair Cañete. So we are the group 1. The members are Cabilo Carl Jude, Espinosa Luigi, myself, Navarro Robert Jan, Padigos John Leonard, Pacanya Jericho, Sumaganday Edson Dale. So now let's hop on to our topic. The first is the objectives. So the first objective is identify or name at least 10 critical machinery or equipment inside the engine room. The second is describe the use of each critical machinery or equipment and explain why it is considered as a critical equipment. So lastly, state the allowable or minimum or required number of spare parts, pieces or insets of each critical equipment. So now what is critical equipment or critical machinery? So in ship, this critical equipment whose failure will result into potential hazardous situation or an accident. Thereby, it can cause a injury to a personnel or crew on board, or loss of life or damage to the marine environment or property. So that's why we need to know all this equipment or machinery so that we can be aware and prevent it from any hazardous. So the first equipment is the fuel tank quick closing valve. So quick closing valves are fitted to oil tanks so that in the event of fire they can be safely closed from a remote location to stop the supply of the fuel to the fire. So it is a absolutely critical equipment where in the event of an emergency such as a fire, they may be safely closed from a remote location to prevent in the fuel in the tank from feeding the fire. So as we all know, this fuel tank quick closing valve can help to prevent a event such as fire, because the flow of this valve is fuel, and we all know that fuel is one of the elements of fire triangle which can create fire. The triangle which consists of fire, oxygen, and the heat. So the required number of spare parts of a fuel tanks, one set of fuel bulbs of each size and type fitted or complete with all fittings for one engine, one set of gland packing seal, one gasket for bulb. So that is the required number of spare parts of the a fuel tank quick closing valve. So the number 2 critical equipment is the boiler safety bulb sets. So safety bulbs are typically used for boilers overpressure protection and other applications such as a downstream pressure reducing controls. Although their primary role is for safety, safety bulbs are also used in process operations to prevent product damage due to excess pressure. So I know, the safety bulb is a helpful device to prevent excessive pressure such as air that can also cause a fire, because it is a elements of a fire triangle. And these safety bulbs is just like a relief bulb, but the difference of these two is the safety bulb, the valve is using air pressure, and it can exhaust in the atmospheric area. So the relief bulb is also a safety valve, but it is a valve that the flow of it is the liquid, so that the exhaust of the liquid can go back to its system. So that is the difference of the two. So the required numbers of the spare parts of these boiler safety bulb sets are the one set of safety bulbs, one gland packing seal, and one gasket for the bulb. The next reporter will be Navarro Robert Jan.
Hi everyone, by the way, I'm Engine Cadet Navarro Berchan, and I will be continuing to report the critical machinery equipment. So, as you can see in the PowerPoint, I will be discussing or reporting the number 3 of the critical machinery equipment. And number three is all about the boiler water gauge glass sets. So in this boiler, the water level gauge provides a visible indication of the water level or in the boiler in the correct in the region of the correct working level. So a mark on the boiler body indicates the desired normal water level, and a side glass shows the current water level. So basically, we can say that boiler water gauge glass set is very critical in machinery because the gauge glass on a steam boiler enables the operator to visually observe and verify the actual water level in the boiler. But water stains and clogged connections can result in false readings. The glass also may break or leak. So it takes time to replace the glass, even if the boiler must be shut down. As you can see in the PowerPoint tile image below, uh, the first image is all about the tubular type level gauge. Then the second image below is the reflection type gauge. And the third image is all about the transparent type of level gauge. And the last image is all about the multi-port type level of gauge. If you can't see clearly, you can just zoom it so that you can clearly see the image and the title of the machine. There is always a required number of spare parts. One set of gauge glass of water for the critical machinery equipment for number 3. Since we are already done talking about the critical machinery equipment for number 3 is all about the boiler water gauge glass set. We need to know we need to hop into the another types of machinery. And one of them is the Hfo and Lo pumps. So Hfo, or heavy fuel oil, is the most widely used type of fuels for commercial vessels to power the engine. For an example, if a sudden operational failure of equipment or technical systems on board may result in hazardous situation, and that equipment or system is considered critical. So for the last style of my reporting, it's also required to have a number of spare parts for the Hfo and Lo pumps. As you can see in the PowerPoint tile, these are the required spare parts for Hfo and Lo pumps. One set of circulating pump. Next is one main bearings or shells for one bearing of each size and type fit, complete with shims, bolts, and nuts, followed by the one mechanical seal, one shaft sleeve, one set of impeller, one gasket seal, and lastly one set of relief valve. So thank you for listening, and by the way, I'm Engine Cadet Navarro, and that is my topic.
So, good day, cadets. Good day to you, especially to you, sir. So, I'm John Leonard Padigos, Engine Cadet Padigos. I'm also to discuss about the in critical machinery and equipments. So, the main and auxiliary engine system filters. So, let's define what is filters. So, the filter is a fine mesh screen which is used to remove impurities from oil, water, and air on the ship. Filters are mounted in pairs as a duplex system, so that one can be used and the other is to keep on standby at a time. Fuel and oil filters get used for the same function, but the difference is the fluid they use. The fuel filters takes out the particles in the fuel, and the oil filters work through the engine oil. Their maintenance is absolutely critical to life expectancy of the crankshaft and its bearings, which depends entirely on the uninterrupted supply of clean and correctly filtered oil. So we know that a filter is used to remove the
impurities and the solid particles. So if it this is very important when it comes to the crankshaft. So required number of spare parts. First is one set of air filter, one set of fuel filter, one set of fuel filter, one set of gasket and packings, one set of O-rings, and next is the critical machinery equipments to the high and low level alarms. It is a device installed in a fuel storage tank that is capable of sounding and alarming during a filling operation when the liquid level nears the top of the tank. This system features an immediate response air pressure probe and an adjustable pressure switch that will sense liquid level within 1 to 2 inches of proof settings. It is critical to have a set of alarms in the engine room since they can be utilized to determine which machinery or system the alarm is related to. Attempt to discover the defect that is causing the alarm to sound. Requires number of spare parts, one set of low alarms, and lastly, one set for high alarms. That's all about my assigned topic. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Jericho P. Pacanya and I am here to continue the report of Mr. Padigos. Critical machinery or equipment. Number 7. Feed water system pump sets. A feed pump is a type of pump that supplies water to a boiler to produce steam. For industrial purposes, a feed pump supplies a liquid for further processing. These pumps are high pressure and the example of this one is positive displacement type feed pumps. Below in the picture is the example of it. Next one is the required number of spare parts. Number 1 is one set of feed water pump. So below is the example as what you can see in the picture. One main bearings or shells for one bearing of each size and type fitted complete with shims, bolts, and nuts. So below is the example of that one. Followed by mechanical seal, one shaft sleeve, one set of impeller, one gasket seal, one set of relief valves. So in order for you to easily understand, there are the pictures below given so that you can easily identify. That's all.
Good day everyone, I am Kabilo Carl Jude and let's talk about the main and auxiliary engine circulating systems pump sets. A fuel pump works to supply a definite amount of fuel to all cylinders, irrespective of the load at a correct time interval based on the firing order. The fuel pump providing a high pressure fuel to the injector, which then opens the valve against the spring tension to inject atomized fuel to the cylinder. So let's talk its spare parts. So what is spare parts? Spare parts is an extra part of a vehicle or machine kept for use in emergency or replacement. So first is we have one set of mechanical seal. It is a device that helps to join system or mechanism together by preventing leakage. Next is a shaft sleeve. Shaft sleeves is a hollow metal tube, and its basic function of shaft sleeves is to protect the shaft from packing wear at the stopping box. And also shaft sleeves helps to protect the running surface of the shaft seals or the surface in contact from damage or abrasive wear. Next is impeller. So we need also one set of impeller. Next is gasket. So without the gasket, your engine may heat up or the cylinders could misfire. When this happens, the cylinder head can squeeze the gasket further, causing it to fail. This failure may lead to further cracks in the surface, permitting coolant, gases, or other materials to harm the engine. So, we need the more gaskets. Yeah, why we need spare parts. And the last one is the relief bulb. Relief bulb is a type of safety bulb used to control or limit the pressure in a system. So, why do we need spare parts? Having spare parts available right away allows you to meet or exceed your production goals and ensure the on-time shipment and delivery of your products.
I am Engine Cadet Sumaganda Sundale. So I'm gonna discuss the ninth and 10th critical machinery or equipment. So the ninth critical machinery equipment is main engine electrical blower. So what's the purpose of main engine electrical blower? It provides positive charge air during starting of engine air and low load running. Also, it maintains the pressure of scavenging air a little higher than the exhaust and atmospheric pressure in order to drive out the exhaust gases. During startup, if there is insufficient supply of air during combustion, the engine will have problems such as black smokes, burnout resulting from poor combustion, and can actually not start at all. And because there is less RPM or less load during startup, the turbocharger cannot supply enough air for proper combustion. In order to prevent all this, a pair of auxiliary blowers is installed in two-stroke main engine to provide positive supply of charge air for proper combustion during startup to maneuvering speed. It will automatically stop if the engine speed or load is high enough for turbocharger to supply charge air, and will also auto start when the engine load falls below 25% of the rated power. So the required number of spare parts for main engine electrical blower is one set of electrical blower, one full set cylinder heads assembly, one full set cylinder liner complete with joint rings and gaskets, uh, one full set of piston with piston rings and piston cooling, and last one is one gasket seal. So the next one is, or the last one, the 10th critical machinery or equipment is the main switchboard and components. So the main purpose of the board is to control the flow of power. It divides the main current supplied to it into several smaller chunks and distributed it to the devices. In precise, switchboard supply power to transformers, panels, and other equipment, and from there power further gets distributed. Uh, a switchboard is a component of an electrical distribution system which divides an electrical power feed into branch circuits while providing a protective circuit breaker or fuse for each circuit in a common enclosure. A main switchboard, it is used for receiving, measuring, and distribution of electrical energy, and protects the network from overload, short circuit, and current leak. So these are the required number of spare parts. First, one set of low voltage switch. Second, one set of sheet metal parts. Third, one set of circuit breakers. And the last one is one set of switchgear and components. So that's all, guys. Thank you for listening and hope you learned something.